Hey everyone, it's Laura from Ross River Library, and you're here with me in Growing with Gardens. Today we are going to be checking in on our seedlings. I'm going to show you how they've been growing. So the schedule for today is we're going to check in our plants, we're going to get out our garden journals very quickly, we're going to read a story and do a fun experiment, and then we're going to finish out with a poem. So to start right off, I'm going to update you with a look at our plants that we planted as seeds. So I'll start with the ones that we planted first, which were, if you remember, onions, basil, oregano, tomatoes, peppers, and broccoli. So lots has changed. They've really grown. Okay, so I'll start off with basil, and you'll notice a big change. So this is our basil. So I transplanted the ones that were really growing. So the ones that had multiple sets of leaves and that were getting pretty tall because they were starting to get too big for their little seed cells. So I put them in recycled containers. So there's a cardboard one, and then I also use things like old bottles. Like I cut half the bottle, so it looks like that. So you can use a lot of things as seed pots or plant pots. So these are basil. So as you can see, they have beautiful leaves. Here, I'll give you a little top look at it. So that's our basil. And then here's one of our pepper plants. The peppers are doing really well. They're growing pretty tall. They have lots of leaves. They have really strong stems. So those are doing really well. And here is one of our broccoli plants. This is pretty, these are a pretty color green. I like those. And then for the real impressive one, here is our tomato plants. So obviously they've grown quite a lot. So they started to fall over in our seed trays. So I decided that they definitely need to be transplanted, and they also needed to be staked. So I used like a wooden skewer, and then I tied very loosely little pieces of string so that the tomato plant is supported by that wooden skewer. And so now it's really growing tall. So this is teaching the stem to be really strong as it grows up and up and up. So those are the main ones. Those are the 3, 4 that I transplanted into bigger pots. And I'll give you a look at the flowers that we planted. Here they are. They're getting pretty tall too. They're still pretty small, and they still need the support of the little seed trays and the heat mat and everything. So they're gonna stay in here for a little bit until it starts to look like they're filling up the little pods with their roots, and then I'll transplant them into bigger pots. So what I've been doing is watering them, obviously. I still have them on the heat, using the lights. I've been opening the door so the natural sun can come in and give them an extra boost of strength. And then I've also been fertilizing them, which is really important because once they get to a certain size, they need a lot of extra food because they're bigger. So those major changes was that I transplanted them, and then I staked them, and I'm also fertilizing them. So if you want to get out your garden journals, you can do that. And if you've been tracking any of them, you can pause it and draw a picture and kind of write down the things that I told you that I've been doing. So on our seedling observation page, you can draw a picture, you can talk about how we take care of them, and you can write down the height and the number of leaves. If you're wondering about any of those measurements, I can share those with you. Just let me know in the comments. You can also fill out more of the plant tracker, so you can add zinnias, cosmos, and marigolds, and then you can track the height of the other plants and the growth log. So if you want to do those activities, or you just want to draw some pictures of the plants, if you have plants at home that you want to draw pictures of, you can do that too. So I've been watering them a lot, and water is really important right now for the plants. They keep soaking it up, and when the soil starts to get lighter brown, I make sure to water them a good bit so they have a lot to drink. And then the excess water comes out through the holes in the bottom of the pots that I poked, because that's really important. So water is really important right now for the little seedlings. And it's been raining a lot because it's spring and there's just been a lot of rain. So water is all around us right now, and it is really important. And it's the perfect opportunity for us to take a moment and learn something about water and to pause and appreciate water. So we're going to turn to this great book. It's called Hey Water. It teaches us to notice water, observe how it moves and changes, and it also tells us to say thank you to water, because without water, we wouldn't survive. So we're going to look at all the ways water, the different ways water looks, sounds, and feels. So as we go through this book, pay attention to the different ways that it moves, that it looks and feels. And maybe you can think of other ways that it moves and the other ways that you see it during your day. So this book is called Hey Water by Antoinette Portis. Hey water, I know you. You're all around. What's this? Faucet. You spray up, sprinkler, and down. Shower. You trickle. What's this? A hose. And gurgle. Stream. And rush towards the sea. A river. You cover most of the earth, salty, surging, and mysterious. I bet you know what that is. Do you see that? I think that's a whale. So this must be the ocean. Sometimes you lie quiet and calm. A lake. So we can splash and play and yell in you. Oh, I bet a lot of you are looking forward to this one. A pool. It's coming soon. I stomp in you and scatter droplets everywhere. Puddle. It's so fun to stomp in the puddle, and we've had a lot of rain, so we can do that. In the morning, you wink at me from blades of grass. Dewdrop. Sometimes you slide down my cheek without a sound. Tear. Sometimes you roar and pour. Rain. Water, even when you try to fool me, I know you. You blast and huff. You whistle and puff. Steam. You hide in the air and drift. What's that one? A cloud. You drift in the air and hide the world. Fog. Sometimes you freeze, hard as a rock. Ice cube. A rock that floats. Iceberg. Or a rock we can skate on. Rink. Sometimes you freeze, soft as a feather. Snow. And fancier than lace. But water, I know it's you. Snowflake. You're hiding in this funny guy. What's that? A snowman. And you're hiding in me too. Zoe. Water, you're a part of every living thing. All right, can you name these with me? Let's see what we have. A puppy, a bug, bird, plant. We know about that. We have lots of plants here with us. Mushroom, fish. When I'm thirsty, you are there. A glass. Hey, water. Say it with me. Thank you. Bathtub. Wow. Did you guys notice every single day all the different ways that there's water in the world? What is your favorite place that water shows up? What are you most thankful for in water? A river, maybe a swimming pool, maybe the hose, rain. So many ways the water shows up and so many things to be thankful for. At the end of this book, there's some really cool pages that teach us some facts about water. So it tells us about the forms of water. You guys probably know some of these. You might have learned them in school. So we have liquid, solid, and gas. So we looked at some of those through the book. So liquid, that was like the glass of water, rain, river, ocean. In the solids, we had snowflakes, ice cubes. In the gas, we have steam, like in a teapot or on when you're boiling water or something like that. Also, water vapor. And this little block says, this is what water vapor looks like. Nothing, because you can't see it. And over here, it has a great picture of the water cycle. You guys probably know about this one too. So we have collection. So water collects and then it evaporates up into the sky from heat. And then it condenses. Cold air causes water vapor to turn back into liquid droplets. And then it precipitates, so then it rains. So we have a fun way to think about how it rains. And if you saw my post earlier, you might have gathered these supplies, but they're easy to gather. So if you can get them real quick and do this with me or go back and do it later, that's good too. So we have a glass jar, and then we have some shaving cream and food coloring and water and a spoon. So you're going to fill up your glass with water. All right, just to the top there. And then we're going to make a cloud, all right? So get your shaving cream, shake it up. I don't know if you actually have to shake it up, but I'm doing that. So then you're going to spray a little layer, very thin layer. It doesn't matter if you cover it all because you're going to take your spoon and kind of spread it out. We have a comment. Oh, we miss you all too. We miss you so much. We can't wait to be back with you sometime and do all of our fun activities together. All right, so you're going to want to cover all of the holes. You can't really see mine, but you don't want any holes where you can see the water because a cloud covers the whole thing. Okay, so you have your cloud and it's a thin layer. And then what you're going to do is take your food coloring. Mine dropped on the floor. Okay, take your food coloring, and this is the rain. So remember how we saw that water condenses. So the sun's heat makes the water turn into vapor. So it's a liquid and then it's vapor and it rises up into the cloud and then it starts to gather. So when the drops clump together and get too heavy to float anymore, they fall back to the earth. So gravity makes them fall back to the earth. So let's see. We're going to start adding some water drops. Let's see what's happening with yours. Keep adding them one at a time. Try this one too. I ran out of that one. One at a time. And if you need some extra help, you can take a spoon or an eyedropper and drop water into it to really make it heavy. Because lots of water vapor has to gather together before it can drop to the earth because it has to get heavy enough for gravity. How much are you putting in yours? What's happening, guys? Something's happening. Can you see? I'm going to put more rain in my cloud. It's collecting and it's collecting, and now it's become too heavy and gravity is pulling it to earth, and it's raining. Can you see the rain falling? So that's what kind of happens in a cloud. It's really fun to watch, and it's really fun to do multiple times and maybe make a thicker cloud, make a thinner cloud. Yes, it does look like rain clouds. It's a pretty fun experiment, and you can use different colors to see maybe which one drops faster. So try that multiple times with different variables and predict what will happen each time. It's really fun. Okay. So water is awesome because it provides life. And it's really important to conserve water because the water that we can use to drink and to just do daily things like cooking, brushing our teeth, stuff like that, is fresh water. So there's a difference between fresh water and salt water. Do you guys know how much fresh water there is on Earth? I have a little demonstration for you that might help you understand how much fresh water and how much salt water is on Earth. So this is all of the water on Earth. Just pretend that's full though. Okay, so we have a gallon of water. That's all of the water on Earth. So now we're going to take a little measuring cup. I'm going to fill it to half a cup. Okay. All right, so we have half a cup of water. This is all of Earth's fresh water. All of the water that's now in here is salt water, so we can't use that for our everyday water needs like drinking, bathing, brushing our teeth. And then we're going to take a tablespoon and put 4 tablespoons of water into a little container. This is coming out of the fresh water, all right? 4 tablespoons. This is the water that's not frozen in ice caps or glaciers. So we can't obviously get fresh water that's in glaciers and ice caps. So all of this water is frozen and we can't use it. So that's going down here. So this is the water that's not frozen. We're going to take back our eyedropper, get a little bit in the eyedropper, and 1 drop. Let's see if I can do this. 1 drop. Do you see that? This is the water that is clean and not polluted that we can use. So we started with a full gallon, and this is the water that we can use, fresh water. So that's pretty crazy, right? I mean, there is a lot of water, but we only have this much. So we have to be really careful with water. So we have water, clean water, but not everyone does. So not only do we have to be careful with how much water we use, but we also have to be really thankful for the water that we do have. So we have to treat water like a gift or a treasure, and we have to make sure that we're not wasting it. So do you guys have some ideas for how you might conserve water? So this is telling us of some facts about conserving water. So you can look in books to maybe find some facts. You can watch videos. You can go on websites and see some different ideas for conserving water. Some popular ones are like turning the faucet off when you're brushing your teeth so you're not wasting water, or turning it off when you're doing dishes, maybe taking shorter showers. A fun one is if you're waiting for water to get hot, like for a shower or something like that, you can put a bucket under your faucet and collect all the cool water that's just otherwise going to go down the drain. So all of these ways are things that are going to be really important for conserving water. So there are really 2 very important things when you're trying to practice to conserve water. One is observation. So like in this book, it showed us all the different ways water is around us. So when you're observing water, you're paying attention to it. You're seeing, oh, water's right here. Is it being wasted? Is it being harmed, polluted? That way you can pay attention to water and make sure you aren't wasting it or it's not being harmed. Absolutely. Turning off water when brushing your teeth is such an important thing. Thank you, Cameron. That one's so easy. We can all do that one every single day, and we'll save so much water, like gallons of water. The other important thing is appreciation. So we observe water and then we appreciate it. And when we appreciate water, we recognize that it is limited and it is a precious gift. So a good way to do that is just say thank you. Thank you, water, for watering our plants and for giving us something to drink and for keeping us clean. So that will help you learn to care for it and also take action and find new ways to conserve water. So we're going to finish off all of this with a poem from our book of nature poems that we've been reading from. I found a really good one about water, and this one teaches us some other ways that we can think about water. Whoops. We'll wait for that to end. Does anyone have any more comments as we wait for the phone to ring? Some great additions from doing things at home, right? All right, so this poem is called Voices of Water. Oh, we're good. All right. So we have Voices of Water, and this poem is written by Tony Mitten. And what do we have here? We have a pond with a frog. All right, let's listen to the poem. The water in the rain says, tick, tick, tack. The water in the sleet says, slush. The water in the ice says, crick, crick, crack. The water in the snow says, hush. The water in the sink says, slosh, slosh. The water in the tap says, drip. The water in the bath says, wash, wash. The water in the cup says, sip. The water in the pool says, splish, splash. The water in the stream says, trill. The water in the sea says, crish, crash. The water in the pond stays still. The water in the soil says, sow, sow. The water in the clouds says, give. The water in the plant says, grow, grow. The water in the world says, live. Thank you guys for listening, for learning with me, and for supporting the library. Hope you all are doing well, and we'll see you next time. Bye.